Maybe I'm just well and truly off the f***ing tier now and about to get crushed by a truck. We've been talking about this video for a little while. The whole idea of this video is that, again, to go back and look at kind of what I've experienced is that there's 3 tiers of the industry here in Australia and probably everywhere else, but I'm not an expert on anywhere else or here. I'm just calling it how I see it. The bulk of the blues gigs and the roots gigs that I'm kind of been around are kind of, you know, let's say $300 to $600 gigs. Now, anywhere in that kind of bracket, you know, whether it's 245s or 345s of kind of front bar gigs, you don't really need to engage in a whole lot of work back of house to be able to do those sorts of gigs. That's bread and butter gigs for most musicians in Melbourne. Yes, having a Facebook presence is going to help, and yes, doing that, you know, pushing and doing a bit of promotion on Facebook is going to help, and is kind of the bare minimum to do those kind of $300 to $600 gigs. A lot of frustration from artists is, or I found, a lot of that frustration comes when they're behaving and treating their back of house like they're doing $300 to $600 gigs, and they're trying to get $1,500 gigs. And they're frustrated that they're not getting them. They're frustrated that they're not getting more of them. They might get one here and another one there, but they don't get a lot of them. And that's because their back of house isn't sorted. Their promo, their engagement with their social media, their website, their press kit, their photos, all of the stuff that you need to be treated and paid like a professional tools. So if you want to go out and do, you know, $500 gigs 3 or 4 nights a week, you don't need a video. You don't need a really nice photo. You don't. You totally don't. You can potter along and you can do those gigs without spending any money on posters and PR and all that stuff. But if you want to be doing a couple of $1,000 gigs a month, you need great photos. You need a good video. You need a good recording. So and I think that a lot of the frustration that I find in artists is that they're behaving like they're doing $500 gigs and they're frustrated that they're not getting $1,000 gigs. And I would say that like 60 to 70% of gigs in Melbourne are those $600, sub $600 gigs. Let's call them sub $600 gigs. Then, you know, there's probably another 30% of gigs that are those kind of $1,000 to $2,000 gigs. And if you're doing those, you've got your shit sorted. You've got your PR sorted, you've got your social media sorted, and you're ticking all the boxes that make people feel like they're getting value for money when they book you. Then there's that super top tier of the industry, that, you know, the next 10% or 5% that are the guys that are, you know, the drummer and the bass player, those guys that are making $500 or $600 individually to be on the road with, you know, Farnham or Barnsey or Sultan or any of those guys. And they're guys that, you know, are monsters at what they do. They all have their individual websites sorted. They have their individual press kits sorted, not a band, you know, like Shorty, Anthony Murray, you know, his website and his photos and his, you know, Jeff Consey website, photos. Like, these dudes are guys who take themselves seriously and get paid seriously because they're serious, you know? And I think that, again, the frustration comes when you're expecting to be treated differently to the way you're behaving. You end up getting super bogged down and super frustrated that things aren't happening for you and the gigs that you want aren't coming, or you got one but you never got another one. And the reason you never got another one is when you were asked for a photo, you took a selfie with your iPhone and sent it to them, you know, because you don't have any photos. It's like constantly, you know, even artists just keeping up and pushing forwards in some way, shape or form. Like, there are quite a few guys that are out there in the scene at the moment, and I'm one of them actually. The more I look at all the things I'm trying to do with the roulette, I'm actually making it hard for myself because I can't market everything under the one banner because it gets too confusing. So when you've got guys out there that are using the same photos and the same posters for solo gigs as trio gigs, as 7-piece gig bands, you know, and it's like you're selling different things with the same imagery because you don't have $200 to get another round of photos done. And it's like, well, of course that's not going to work. It might work one time. You might feel like you've got ahead of it one time, but you won't get another gig because you didn't take it seriously and you can't promote it properly, so people didn't turn up, you know? Like, yeah, artists, you know, I get it, it's about art. But the day you start wanting to get paid for it and you're wanting to get paid more money for it than you already are, you got to look at it differently. You got to come at it like it's a business. It's easy to say, it's hard to do. I get that too, you know. None of us have got heaps of money sitting in the bank for photo shoots and videos, and, you know, none of us do. We're all living hand to mouth, man, and that's the reality. But if you want that reality to change and you want that reality to move forwards, you need to invest. And I'm not just talking you need to invest money, you know, but time and energy. It's really not about having the best or most expensive guitar or the best this or the best that. It's about telling your story, knowing your story, having, you know, an up-to-date poster, new content, new photos. Yeah. And again, it's hard. But no one got anywhere doing the same thing every day. Anyway, I don't know. Maybe I'm just well and truly off the f***ing tier now and about to get crushed by a truck. But, you know, I think I made my point. I probably didn't. I probably confused a whole bunch of people. But, you know, f*** it if they can't take a joke. Hello, firstly, hello. Neil's gonna have a hell of a time editing all this together because I'm rambling like a mother. And you have persistency. Persistency's not a word, Ben. I'm obviously not as good at this multitasking as I thought I was going to be. What the f*** are you doing, Muppet?